Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above by your sibling spirit guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey, Maureen. Hey, everyone. This is Brian.
Hey, Brian, we're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic, Brian, this has got to be one of my favorites, nature's wonderful glory. Oh boy, I both think we're both in unison with our appreciation of being in the wondrous, glorious nature.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that, we've heard consistent messages, but one is about getting out in nature and trying to do it on a daily basis and the power of nature. And, there's all sorts of beings out there that assist. But anyway, just the energy of it in general is there's so many positive things. So think this pulls a bunch of those together. So let me just get started.
Okay.
November 24th of 2023, vibration of mountains and forests. We present ourselves for your pleasure. We provide information on a daily basis. We are known as the collective group. That's interesting. That sounds like a consulting firm or something. But we are here to bring knowledge of the one. The forest, which is the greatest spawn of new life on your planet, is a place for deep contemplation. We discuss all matters that relate to the individual's present state of mind. You have recently attended the witness of the greater glory of a spectacular display of Mother Nature. It is in this mindset that we remind you the oceans have been depleted of much natural life. Therefore, the forests and mountains remain a pristine source of connective energy. One may use the energetic forces of nature to ascend higher. The vibration of the forest you visited is one of the highest calibration. So you were in Patagonia, Chile. Any comments there, Maureen?
Oh gosh, that's just, I mean, I've been to a lot of mountains, and that is really, really a special place. And I think a very magical place. For those of you, if you haven't been down there, they have this whole Brian, do you remember the pictures I sent you? They have this whole thing of like there's all these pictures of these very strange looking beings and very strange looking clothes, which they have a history of in these mountainous areas. And when I look at it, I'm like, oh, those are definitely star beings. You know, they're not human. So it's really a special place.
Yeah, I know. I've heard a lot of things like that. Interesting. So they go on to say that calibration resonates within your body for a time. It's likened to if water gets stirred up in a glass, it takes a while to settle. The vibrations that you experience in the pristine display of nature of that wondrous park shall resonate with you for a few days, a few weeks, depending on your ability to settle the information into the individual structure of the cellular nature of your body. For the brother, he also partakes in rejuvenating forces of the cyclical nature of the Thanksgiving festivities. These two may resonate. This is why the holidays feel so good. It's because there's an energy that's attached to them. It's up to us to keep that energy within the human frame. It's likened to a driver keeping its eyes on the road. Don't be deterred by lesser matters. Keep your focus fixated on the goal you have established for yourself. For you, dear one, it is the higher ascension and the dissemination of information with which you wish to share. So, a great message. Anything else you want to add on that? It's timely with the holidays and things like that. That you know, focusing in on that energy is something that you can keep within your human frame. And I think that's a great message.
I also think it's pretty interesting that they say that the oceans have depleted of much natural life. which is definitely true. And we don't really think about the impact of that, like energetically, so that the forests and the mountains remain a pristine source of connective energy.
Yeah,
Um,
that's that is sad actually, but it does make sense.
yeah. And the other thing I think of is, keeping your eyes focused on what matters. And again, just think that's why meditation is so important, is it helps you to focus on what matters.
Yeah, let's say people, it's easy with the phones to desperately focus on what does not matter, right? And so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I recently, Brian, I think I told you this, but when you go through the Dr. Joe meditation program, you have to create, instead of like a vision board, you could create like a vision movie. And I just recently created a new one. And it's just so helpful to look at that at the morning because it helps me focus, like, this is what I'm focused on, this is it. And it's
Yeah.
all about peace. And mine is all about peace and love and light and, being a clear channel to bring messages into you all. I mean, that's what the focus is.
Yeah, that's a great message or great practice that you have. Perfect.
Yeah. So I'll go into the next one, which is mountains. From November 26th of 2023, it says mountains are of a greater importance than the general population know or realize. The mountains provide a general resource that may be tapped into. Imagine a deep well of riches. The deep well of riches that resides within each towering edifice. These riches are accessible to all who shall call the mountain by its true name. To be surrounded by mountains is to be enveloped in love and a rich source of energetic fuel. Fascinating, right, brother?
Yeah, I mean, so we have a bunch of messages around mountains, but there is, this energy of mountains. And I know, as you recall, one time I was in the mountains of Arizona, and they remind me to try and connect with them at the power of the mountains, which I guess I just wasn't really aware of. So, when you're around mountains or if you live by mountains, really trying to tap into that energy is important, I think.
Yeah, the one thing that I find fascinating is calling the mountain by its true name. I guarantee you its true name is not something that's been assigned by humankind. That's the key. What is the true name?
Yeah, that would again, a lot of times we have more questions. That's exactly what I was thinking. What is the true name then? Um,
I think you'd have to go in meditation and ask, and then it would come to you. But I'm sure it's not like Mount Shasta in California. I'm sure that's not its true name. I'm sure there's an ancient name that's connected to it. So interesting.
very. So we have a bunch of these short messages on a mountain. So the next one is January 28th at 2024. We urge you to commune with the mountains that shall be before you. And you put a note that you're in the mountainous region of Oman. These indeed are wondrous beings who reside in the central part of your planet. The mountains are indeed alive. These mountains are creatures who wish to communicate with you and shall bring important messages on this day. So, yeah, it's hard to fathom that, but I mean that's what the message is, that the mountains are not just static physical features. They are indeed alive and have, messages for you. So do you remember this when this happened?
Yeah, it was a real doozy for me. So, and I don't know if you remember this, brother, but I was up there in the mountains. So, first of all, Oman is very different from the other countries around in the Middle East because it's not only like desert and sea, but they've got these great mountains. And I went to the mountains and it it just I was just flat on my back for like the whole stay that I was there. I could not move. The energy was overwhelming. And the other thing I will tell you, I did go on one walk, and I know, Brian, I always send you these pictures, but I am amazed that other people do not notice this stuff. But I could clearly see faces in the mountains, clearly see. And then after I had this whole experience, and sometimes when, it gets too much for me, it's like overwhelming. And I'm saying to, the beings in my room, like, okay, come on, people. You gotta remember, I'm in the human body, like, ease up here. And they told me, they said, because they wanted me to be outside and walking and roaming in the mountains, they told me I have to go back. I have to go back to the mountains of Oman, Brian.
So so you said it like laid you out. Is it the energy was too strong, but was that then after a while you assimilated to it, or I mean, was that a good thing,
No,
right?
it was just, I mean, honestly, was in that hotel for like 2 days. I want to say I did like 2 or 3 days, and I was basically in my room for the whole time. I did one walk, and the other thing I will tell you is I have allergies, and it was a time in the spring, and yeah, I couldn't be outside. And between the energy and the allergies, like I was just in was in my, so then the message that I got when I left is like, you have to go back to the mountains of the Oman because they have messages. So at some juncture, I will be going back to the mountains of Oman and communicating with them. But those are very, like, Sedona is very sacred in our United States, and Mount Shasta is very sacred. I'm telling you, those mountains, they're very sacred too.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I'll go on. I think this is from the same time period when I was in the mountains of Oman. They said the mountains do speak through the heart. This was from January 31st, 2024. They wish to foretell of a new time when humans shall return to their native beingness of being attuned to the natural way of life. The discombobulation you feel, yes, I feel a lot of discombobulation, is a result of you being attuned to life in the cities. However, this is the purest vibration of unsullied nature. So, yeah, it was just too much for me. It was just too much for me. So, I don't know, but I will go back. I will go back. I'm hearing 2 years. I'll be back in 2 years.
Well, it's interesting because, like always, the ascended masters are always in the mountains. You don't see them like in, New York City or something, So that is interesting. So it's because, I love visiting the mountains, but I always have lived in cities, so it's sort of going against what they suggest there. But anyway, I think it's something we should be aware of is that the power and the energy of mountains is something that I don't think most people are aware of. So I think this is really interesting. So I'll go to the next one, which was from October 23rd of 2025, Himalayan mountains. We speak now of the Himalayan mountains that encircle you. Now in Nepal, these mighty creatures are steadfast holders of eternal light, as many beings reside within them. They are heavenly creatures within their own right, as such, are attracting many diverse individuals and types of species. Your rest in this general area is beneficial to you and your kind. The mountains grant you a wish for eternal peace and soothe the general nature of your restless being. So, Maureen, how do you feel after having your, they've wished you eternal peace and soothed the nature of your restless being after visiting Nepal recently?
Yeah, such a gift, such a gift. And yeah, I think I told you I have a friend who lives by the sacred site of Tiwanaku in Bolivia. And I sent her like a video of the Himalayas because it does kind of look like the Andes. And she told me that the Andes are the feminine aspect of mountains on this planet, and the Himalayas are the masculine aspect, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's really a beautiful place to be. And I think about too where it says it's attracting many diverse individuals, like the people that you meet traveling in Nepal are different from anybody else. You know what I mean? They're just people are going there usually to trek or to go to the spiritual sites. And so it's very different from like, going on Rome on holiday or going to Sedona or it's very, very different. But yeah, I feel totally blessed to have been in the Himalayas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing place to be. So you're lucky to have been there. Do you want you finish us out and take us through the closing?
Yeah, so this closing is from November 24th, 2023. It's about elemental beings. We shall begin with an informal tutelage with regard to the history of the elemental beings who still exist on your illustrious planet. Those beings were the original source of creation. They began as the wind and the water. They expanded as life expanded. Each droplet that falls in your rainfall contains a multitude of hosts of living beings, blessing the planet as with the tenderness of a loving kiss. We worship and adore the gentle, cyclical nature of nature's wonderful glory. To witness what is before you as an ever present miracle, something as simple as a gentle rainfall, is to glory in the ever present realms of the one Creator. We call on you to immerse yourself in the natural world and delight in the display before you. Each bird, each seed, and each droplet of feces is a wonder to behold. The connection with other beings, whether it be a rock, a bird, or a cloud, is an important connection. The more multidimensional you become, the richer your world will be. This is a fact, a general law known to many. It is not just to immerse oneself in the delights of nature, but to appreciate the greater glory of God's creation. Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah, I think that says it all. So, I mean, there's so much it to in there, but I love how like each droplet that falls in your rainfall contains a multitude of uh, host of living beings, blessing the planet with tenderness of a loving kiss. So I think that's a great message. What's your biggest takeaway from this one?
I love how it's written. I mean, to me, it's like a beautiful prayer. It's a prayer that you could, it's a prayer that you could begin your day with or end your day with, but it's just, it really touches me. It touches me deeply. But yeah, and I think we talk about it this all this time. It's like pulling back from what draws you in your world and taking a breath and appreciating the bird outside your window, the rock in your driveway, a cloud that's passing you by because that is a reflection of God's greater glory. Not that you aren't, but it's appreciating the totality of what's in front of you.
Yeah, well said. I think that sums it up very nicely. So, all right. Well, we'll talk to you next time, but hope you appreciate this. A reminder that Love from Above Volume 1 is out uh, on Amazon and ebook places as well as a paperback. It's also out there in paperback on Amazon. So if you're interested, check it out. And thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye bye.